Hello BookTube, welcome back to Middle Grade Monday. This was created by Storm Reads and I'm joining in on the fun because I have so many middle grade books to recommend for you. And I thought we'd move on to a different country because all I've talked about is Australian middle grade books. And I thought let's go to America and talk about one of the most devastating middle grade books I've ever read, and that has probably traumatized many generations, and that is the one and the only Old Yeller by Fred Gibson. This is a different copy of it, but yeah, we're going to be talking about Old Yeller, so get the tissues out. I did reread it for this video, and I was not prepared, let's just say that. But yeah, Old Yeller, this was published in 1956, and it's based on the family dog that Fred had growing up. It was a border collie, actually, which is kind of fun. I've read a bit of Fred's earlier novels just to suss out what he was all about, and it's very much like young men coming of age, roughing it in Texas and all that stuff. But Old Yeller is clearly the book that made him. It'll keep him immortal forever. It had a big, famous Disney adaptation, which is the way I first found the story the year after this book came out, and I haven't watched it in so long. I'm not ready to. But what is Old Yeller about, just in case you've never read it? Well, it follows a young boy who's 14, and his name's Travis, and the dad's of the family. The dad's like, I'm going to work, and he leaves. And so it's you got Travis, his younger brother, and the mum, right? And Travis is the man of the house. He's taking care of everything. He's trying his best. And one day he goes to get some meat from like the storehouse or whatever it is, and he sees this big dog who's eaten all the meat and is now sleeping. And so Travis wakes up the dog and chases it away. But before he can do that, his mum and his younger brother see the dog, and they kind of like him, and they let this strange old yellow dog stay around. And eventually, over the next couple of weeks and months, they name him Old Yeller, and he starts to really prove himself to the family. He starts to really take care of them. He saves a lot of people from attacks of animals in this book. Again, we learn about the family's neighbors, some of the family's friends, and Old Yeller really steps in and genuinely saves lives in this book. He defends the family from wolves, from hogs, from bears, everything you can imagine that's in the South. And eventually, during a fight with a wild wolf, he gets bitten, and it's believed he has rabies. And let's just say the family have to make a very a moral decision on what to do with Old Yeller, because it's he's gonna die, and so they have to figure out what to do with him. So that's the setup for the novel. I don't want to spoil it because even I can't talk about what's going to happen next. And I'm not a dog person too. Dogs are there for me. I've always been a cat person. Who's got time to show? I'm just not a very like cuddly person, let alone with dogs. I'll pat them, but I like cats because they have their own space and all that stuff. But yeah, this is the one exception for that. Old Yeller is just such a beautiful book. I love the writing too. It's just straight ahead prose. There's no fluff to mess around. It's just a very beautiful and soul destroying book in a lot of ways. But it deserves to be remembered. Again, this book crossed over in so many ways. From just being a big bestseller when it comes to middle grade, it literally has taken on a life of its own. Surely they've remade the original movie by this point, I'm sure, but I don't know why they would because it's so perfect. But yeah, that's your little Ozbook rec for today. Go back if you want to and give Old Yeller a reread because it's really just as good as you remember it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I will see you next time.